Hello and welcome back to Arsenal Domination, where we are 24 hours on, or best part of, from another Arsenal win in the Champions League this time. Really good to get over the disappointment, and there's no question it was disappointing, result against Fulham at the weekend. And hopefully for now we can put together what has been, to me, bit of a silly narrative about the fact that we can only score from set pieces, having scored 3 goals from open play last night, and boy, could it have been 5, 6, 7. We missed some chances. But as I say, that set piece narrative has been really silly. Less than 20% of our goals have come in the last 18 months from set pieces. And yes, that is higher than a lot of other teams, but when it's a weapon for you, it's a weapon for you. And, it's not like Arsenal have not scored a lot of goals. So say, find that a little bit silly. Hopefully that's been put to bed for now, but, who cares, right? The most important thing is that we score goals and we win games, and that's what we did. I'll say, hopefully, this will put us back on the right track after the weekend, and will get us back to winning ways in the Premier League, and help us try and close down that gap to Liverpool. So the game last night had a few surprises going into it. There was concerns about the back line, who was going to be fit, who wasn't. Um, you know, there were concerns about. We knew White and Tomiyasu were out, but Calafiori, Zinchenko, and Gabriel all continued to be out at the back. So we were expecting a makeshift back line, and that's what we got. Partey played at right back again, with Miles Lewis-Skelly returning from his injury, which apparently he wasn't quite ready for at the weekend. And got through over 60 minutes last night before being drawn, which I think was probably sensible. He was tiring, and he stands a good chance of starting this weekend against Everton, you would have thought. But that back four of Partey, Saliba, Kivior, and Miles Lewis-Skelly did very, very well. Monaco really only having 2 chances in the game. And it gave Timber a rest, and that's a rest I've been worried about him needing for a little while. I was worried about the strain on his body, and so really pleased to see him getting a rest for most of the night. Played very well when he did come on, as well. Partey did well at right back. Miles Lewis-Skelly, we'll talk about him later. Excellent at left back. And the two centre halves, very, very, by that one moment, very, very good together, and that's starting to build into a little bit of a partnership, which is good to see. Further forward, midfield, first choice midfield, I think, of Mikel Arteta is that Rice, Moreno, Odegaard midfield. First time we've seen it from the start, and I thought that looked really good, and I thought it gave good balance to the side. I was talking about that's for me, that midfield sort of forward area, and being very right-sided against Fulham was where I felt the game was lost, along with the lack of tempo in midfield. I thought Moreno brought balance to that, and I thought we attacked well down both flanks. In fact, arguably better down the left and the right flank last night. And then further forward, the big surprise was Gabriel Jesus starting up front after that pitiful performance against Fulham. And he looked, in fairness to him, a lot better, although he kind of looked worse. He got an assist, and he got into position to score on 3 very decent shots. He's got to be finishing at least one of them, probably two. I mean, one was a very good save. The second one, I think it was, when he's taken that sort of from the tight angle, going across the keeper, who's just got his foot to it. That was a good save. But the other two, he's got to be very, very disappointed. Both tame efforts, if we're honest, at the goalkeeper. But maybe some credit goes to Mikel Arteta for that selection. It was brave. I think that's how I described it beforehand. Not what I'd have done. I would have gone Trossard up top, because Jesus just didn't warrant a place in the side. 1 goal in 35 appearances, and that came in the EFL against lower league opposition, and a pitiful performance, I say, against Fulham. And I didn't think he deserved a place, but Mikel showing some faith in him maybe might just have helped. Maybe a good thing, because I think one of the criticisms I've had of Mikel Arteta in the past has been this reluctance to use the squad and play the same players all the way through. Well, if we're going to go deep in all competitions this year, we're going to have to use that squad, and Jesus remains a part of the squad for now. I think his time is done with us. I think we showed last night how frustrating he is, but maybe the confidence of the manager to start him in such an important game last night was what Gabriel Jesus needed, and we did see a better performance. So, fingers crossed that has helped. So I've skipped around there a little bit. I should probably just quickly go through the game. So first half, I thought we dominated again, which we have done sort of since the November international break in all games. But I think the difference between this game and the last two against Fulham and Manchester United was the tempo. Um, we attacked with more purpose, and I spoke earlier about Moreno coming in. You know, he was neat and tidy by and large, but I think he brought that balance to the left side. Sort of linked the sort of defence and attack quite well. And I quite liked that performance from him yesterday. But as I say, the tempo was there, and Arsenal sort of cut open, what was, if we're honest, a weaker than I thought they'd be. Monaco side, they sat one place below us coming into this game in the Champions League table, but you wouldn't have been able to tell from last night. And I think that's A, credit to Arsenal, but B, maybe just shows that maybe they're slightly overachieving slightly. Um, as I say, I mentioned the chances that Jesus missed already, three big chances, but there were chances as well for other players, notably Gabriel Martinelli and Martin Odegaard in the first half. But thankfully, we went in at half time with a 1-0 lead. Master Skelly on his first start for us in the Champions League made an absolutely outrageous turn. I thought he'd lost the ball at first, but his confidence in himself to get out of trouble, and he did get out of trouble with that wonderful, wonderful spin, created a space. He played the ball into Jesus with a lovely, lovely pass. And in fairness to Jesus, he had the presence of mind to look up and pick out Saka for a tap in at the back post. And that was the difference between the side at half time. But, the worry was, is it going to be enough? And we nearly paid very, very quickly afterwards when Monaco had a chance where they headed it just wide. And they were coming back into the game, but, Mikel Arteta made the changes. Arsenal were tiring at that point. I think the change was sensible. I think it wrestled back control. Kai Havertz, who I was glad to see get a rest. I said in the Fulham game, I thought he looked tired. He got a rest for sort of 70 odd minutes in the game. I think that was a really good thing for him. And it was his pressure on the goalkeeper that caused them to fail to play out from the back. And Saka gets a comfortable goal for his second of the night. And then he got his 21st goal or assist of the season in 21 games. Um, with the third, he sort of played across and Kai Havertz popped it in from close range. Some saying it's an own goal. It has been given to Havertz. Pleased for Havertz, and he goes to 10 for the season now. So, I always felt he could get 20 goals this season. He's halfway now, at the halfway stage of the season, and I think Arsenal will be better in the second half than they were in the first half of the season. So, I think he's going to go, if he stays fit, plus 20 goals this season, and I think that will be important to Arsenal. I don't think that means that we shouldn't look for a forward. I think it will be the summer. I've always said it will be the summer rather than January. Um, but credit to Havertz if he gets over 20 goals this season is what we've been crying out for. It's been a long time since we last had a striker to get 20 goals in a season, and I think he can do that here. Just really quickly, then, a couple of players just to sort of mention. Saka, again, absolutely exceptional. Needed to be last night because I thought Odegaard was a little bit off colour. But that can happen to any player. But he got the two goals and the assist. Moreno, I mentioned earlier, I think maybe just needs to relax a little bit more. He's trying a little bit too hard, but I just think he's going to grow into this side as the season goes on. And I thought he linked up well with Martinelli and Odegaard and MLS down that left. And then that defence, I mentioned it again earlier. They did really, really well. It's a makeshift defence, and Monaco barely got a sniff. The downside for me really was Martinelli. A mixed performance again from him. Disappointed with him. Lucky to be on the field. To be honest, I was surprised he wasn't hooked earlier because he could have been sent off. And he needs to find that consistency. It's not there. He's an intelligent footballer, but he just needs, in that final third, just needs to improve significantly with decision making there. And we saw that again last night. But the main man I really want to focus on is obviously Miles Lewis-Skelly. Just returned from injury, where he had an infection in his foot apparently. And I think he and Ethan Nyeri came on for Odegaard sort of with 15 minutes to go, I think it was, just after the second goal. They look like they belong at this level, don't they, both of them? I think need to temper expectations a little bit with them both. They are both still really, really young, but they belong in this first team. They're, might not be registered because they don't need to be because of their age, but we have some prospects on our hand. And look, Miles Lewis-Skelly looked comfortable on the ball. He didn't have a lot of defending to do, but I think we've got to remember he's not a left back, he's a midfielder. I'd be nervous about starting him at left back in the big games because I think he just lacks that sort of experience for playing there. Um, but but this was a big game last night, I suppose. So maybe I'm wrong there, but he looked really at home in the side, and I look forward to watching him grow. Been clamoured for him to go out on loan. I don't think he needs to. I think training with these guys and getting the minutes he's getting is probably about right for his development here. Similar with Ranieri. Um, so yeah, absolutely brilliant from them. So overall, now it's 7 out of 8 wins in the Champions League. 7 out of the last 8, Arsenal won in the Champions League at home. 7 clean sheets, and Mikel Arteta will be pleased. We're overall, he got the lineup right, he got the subs right, he gave some rest to Timber and Havertz, notably. Rice came off, Odegaard came off. These are important things as Arsenal sort of go into, or continue on with this busy period with Everton coming up next. And they should have secured a top 8 finish, I think, for them. You'd expect to get at least 4 points, and that should be enough for Arsenal to go through in the top 8, which crucially means they don't have to play 2 games in February in the Champions League. But they should be aiming for 6 points from those two. Performance was much better. A really, really positive night for Arsenal. I think the only downside being that we could have racked up 6, 7, 8. But yeah, good night for us. And I will be back with another video tomorrow. It won't preview the Everton game overly. I'm going to focus the video on Kieran Tierney and his future at Arsenal. Hopefully you will see that tomorrow. In the meantime, thank you for all those that got me over 50 subscribers. I really, really appreciate that. It's happened way quicker than I thought it would ever would. In fact, I didn't think it ever would, to be honest. But there we go. Even I can be wrong sometimes. But yeah, if you can like, subscribe, and comment all that stuff, that'd be great. I will speak to you tomorrow. Cheers.